The thing I'm really concerned about with this, Laura, is that the left becomes a turnout machine with young people.
Uh-oh, someone's afraid. That there is Kellyanne Conway, an old Barbie that became a dog's chew toy and former senior counsel to President Trump, with, for once in her life, not alternative facts, but some cold, hard truths for the GOP. She makes a damn good point. Gen Z will become a major voting bloc come 2024, and they were already a force to be reckoned with in 2020 and 2022. Conway was on Laura Ingraham's show on Fox in a segment that's clearly about stirring outrage over trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. And she's basically saying that she's less worried about that and more worried about Gen Z becoming voters. And yet the faux outrage over Mulvaney is precisely part of why Conway and others should be scared. They're taking aim at a massively beloved TikTok influencer with 10 million followers for no other reason than the fact that she's trans.
Because influencers have this domino effect, lemming-like effect of people just all then wanting to be part of the same crowd. And if they succeed in that way, we're not doing a great job competing for ballots. We're just competing for votes. Our candidates lost the early voting miserably last time. I mean, someone like Dr. Oz lost the early vote to John Fetterman by over 4-1. So we need to compete for ballots, not just voters and not just minds. And I think they're trying to do that with these influencers.
Maybe Conway is finally listening to her daughter, Claudia, who herself became a TikTok influencer for a bit and has even dabbled in democratic socialism. Ooh. Who would have thought that when you ban books from their schools, refuse to pass gun control to keep them safer in school, and do nothing about climate change to make sure there's a habitable planet for them in the future, that young people would hate your guts? Add to that Gen Z's progressive attitudes towards gender identity and sexuality, all while GOP lawmakers are putting in more work into stopping trans people from existing than they ever have in their own bedrooms. And throw in a little forced birthing crusade as a cherry on top, and yeah, you've got a landslide turnout Sunday, or Tuesday. Now, let's complete that Sunday with some sprinkles, like the fact that Republicans want to also ban TikTok. That's like coming after baby tees and Doc Martens for my generation, or coming after baseball cards for boomers. It's not gonna work. But don't take my word for it. Let's ask an actual Gen Z TikToker what they think.
What Republicans don't understand about Gen Z is that we're here to stay and we're only getting more powerful. In 2020, President Biden won because of young voters. In 2022, Democrats expanded their majority in the Senate because of young voters. In 2023, Wisconsin now has a liberal Supreme Court because of young voters. And we're going to do it again in 2024, and that should terrify the Republican Party.
Ooh, he's riled up. Look at those rosy cheeks and that flush face. Oh, he means business. And things have gotten even more heated ever since 2 Tennessee lawmakers led a gun control protest and then were summarily expelled, since reinstated. But ooh, look out, because young folks might have access to way more weed gummies, but they are not slacking on this one.
After what happened in Tennessee last week, when you had the 2 youngest black members of the Tennessee state legislature literally get expelled simply for protesting with young people about gun violence. And young people see this clearly. We are seeing what's happening with this Republican Party. You mentioned that we paid attention when Dobbs fell. We're paying attention now more than ever before. The number of young people who I've heard from who have told me that what they're seeing in Tennessee right now is concerning, is more than I've ever seen before. Young people are paying attention. I think Republicans in Tennessee and also, frankly, across the country are unleashing something that they are going to regret come 2024.
Now, none of these issues, gun control, climate action, abortion rights, civil rights, drag shows, have to be partisan. I mean, just ask Anthony DeVolder and all the other Republicans who've done drag. Like, which Republican hasn't dressed in drag or done blackface? Raise your hands. Republicans are digging their own grave or hiring others to dig it for them. They don't actually do manual labor. But the real issue is that instead of changing their policies, the GOP wants to change the rules by making it harder to vote. See, that's how they stay in power. They gerrymander, they suppress, they close polling stations and eliminate early voting. Laura Ingraham herself even went on later in that segment to effectively argue for the GOP to do more of that. The GOP is a minoritarian party. They believe in minority rule. So we shall see how it all shakes out. But kids, my bad for ever judging you, all right? Keep eating Tide Pods and NyQuil chicken, whatever you gotta do to fight the power.